Most Americans can't name their own congressman, let alone whoever the Speaker of the House is. Although Nancy Pelosi did make an impression, didn't she? All right, so it's going to take a couple of days maybe to figure out who the next Speaker is. And maybe it will be Kevin McCarthy. Let's face it, the guy is not Mr. MAGA, but Trump did endorse him, and I can live with him. I could also certainly live with Jim Jordan or Steve Scalise. They're in contention. Look, they got to figure this stuff out, and they will. In the meantime, the fake news, ignore them. But they really are trying to hammer it home that somehow this is the death knell of, well, all things Republican. They're wrong.
Think about the fact that Republicans will be looking at other Republicans saying, you embarrassed us in front of the country. This is not a good look for Republicans, and it is a good look for Democrats.
This could go on for days. Again, not a good look for Republicans and not a good start for them.
Politically, for Republicans to just continue to look like they can't do anything right.
This is inside baseball, inside the Beltway, the stuff that, when have any of these people ever given Republicans or Trump or anybody any credit, cut them any slack whatsoever? It's a silly Washington game. It has not happened since 1923. We don't care. If anybody comes up to you tomorrow and says, hey, do you hear Kevin may not, it's not going to happen. At least in my world, even in my world, it's not happening. Happy New Year, everybody. It's great to be back. I went on a rare vacation. My wife and I went to the mountains in Colorado and went skiing. I think that might be the last time I'm doing that. It was great to spend time together, but the skiing and the schlepping and the airport, Denver International Airport. All right, a couple of things here. Now, I know the Biden administration did not invent long lines at the airport, but some really strange things are going on at that airport and in America writ large. Number one, going up the escalator from the train to the main terminal, I saw this. Yeah, Garth Brooks, the country guy, right? And there's a message from him. When there's only one race, and that's mankind, we shall be free. When there's only one race, and that's man, and that's all it is. Now, it's a lyric from some song, which some people say is pretty good, but taken alone, that's a pretty bizarre message. There's only one, and that's man. What's the problem? I mean, one interpretation, it could be like genocidal. I know that's not what he's getting at, right? But the takeaway is, what's the problem? The black race, the Asian race, the white race? Now, Garth Brooks is worth $400 million, all right? Garth, what are you letting them mess with your beautiful lyrics for, right? Let them, they got to be in the song, in the context of the song. Take it out of context, it's weird, and it's furthering an agenda that I don't think you quite understand. And that was just one element of my experience that was bizarro. The whole American experience is going crazy. I don't even know what country this is or what century this is, at the Denver airport at least, getting food there. So they had about a dozen restaurants, 2 sit-down restaurants. You could only get drinks, by the way, at 9 o'clock at night. No food, just drinks. There was a McDonald's open. The line went for an hour and a half, no kidding, and a Pizza Hut. Great, right? Guess what? The Pizza Hut had no pizza. They were serving mashed potatoes, and that's it. I asked a woman next to me, is this America? She said, I have no idea. Literally, this is not right. In America, you should be able to get fat whatever time of day it is, wherever you are. Something is amiss. Wouldn't you agree? The airport, by the way, who's in charge of this monstrosity? A guy that Joe Biden wants to make the head of the FAA. No kidding. Phil Washington, who has scant transportation experience, really shows at the airport, is the Biden administration pick to run the Federal Aviation Administration. Good luck. Another few observations. Happy New Year again. But from my vacation, I don't take these very often. Went to a beautiful resort. Great service. Everything was amazing. And the people, so nice. Look at this. All of them were from South America. Now, I admire them. They came here legally. How do I know they're from South America? They had it on their tag. Hi, I'm Jose from Ecuador. It said on there, and I thought it was great. They had ambition, professionalism. They want to get ahead in life. And again, they came here legally. But I was like, where are all the Americans? Why are they not working? The young ones, right? College, get ahead. What could have de-incentivized them from work?
Using the authority Congress granted the Department of Education, we will forgive $10,000 in outstanding federal student loans.
Yes, these are the policies that will make America weak again. Disincentivizing people from work, smoke dope all you want, no consequences whatsoever, especially in Colorado, and believe the fake news, whatever they say, especially about January 6th. Did you hear? They put out their final report just before the Republicans take over around Christmas. The January 6th report is out. It's 1,000 pages long. I actually read 80% of it while I was on vacation. I probably should not have done that. But there are some gems in here, some real gems. I'm glad I did it because the truth, even though they've been trying to obscure it, it's in there. It's in there if you look closely enough. A big question. Remember, what was Trump doing for the 187 minutes? And they determined he was watching television. He was watching it all happen. He was laughing at it. He was salivating at all the carnage at the Capitol, remember?
The committee has firsthand testimony now that he was sitting in the dining room next to the Oval Office watching the attack on television.
Other witnesses confirmed that President Trump was in the dining room with the TV on for more than 2.5 hours.
The committee recreated the 187 minutes of the attack blow by blow, saying Mr. Trump watched it unfold on TV and never called a single law enforcement agency.
How could he not have called anybody? He was watching it on TV. What was he, laughing, enjoying it all? The ransacking of our Capitol? Why wasn't he defending democracy? It's all fake news. So let's say he was watching TV, which, oh, by the way, they never actually proved. But if he was watching TV, what did he see? In this report, at 2:38 p.m. on January 6th, this is the important moment. This is the aha moment. President Trump had the TV on in the dining room at 2:38 p.m. Fox News was showing video of the chaos and attack, with tear gas filling the air in the Capitol Rotunda, and a newscaster reported, "This is a very dangerous situation." Wow, the president did nothing after that? I'm not buying this report. I don't buy the report. You shouldn't buy the report. Let's look at Fox News at 2:38 p.m. on January 6th, 2021. What was so dangerous? Take a look.
First of all, we went from a peaceful protest, and this is a very dangerous situation right now. That there are, I'm being told, these protesters on the inside are around both chambers, and there is now tear gas inside the Capitol Rotunda. In fact, members locked in the House are being instructed to put on masks.
Wow. Brett Baer said it's a dangerous situation. Go to DEFCON 5. What if President Trump had the sound off, by the way? This is mild. You don't see tear gas in the rotunda. You see people outside at this point. Let me see it with the sound down, please, all right? If President Trump was talking on the phone and this was on TV, is this an emergency situation? Is this something that, I don't know, what do? Do you send in battalions of National Guard right after they told him he couldn't during Black Lives Matter summer? This was the case all afternoon. All anchors, Fox News, CNN, everybody, they were hyping things way out of proportion. Based on what they were seeing, they should not have been saying what they were saying. CNN, fake Jake.
This is the United States of America, and we're watching protesters. A constitutional process through force by storming the United States Capitol.
Look at that. That is outside. Jake, I'm sorry to interrupt, but look at those pictures. Have you ever seen anything like that? I mean, these are protesters outside on the steps of the Capitol. They're physically in there.
Well, it's a fitting end to an era that has been characterized by lawlessness.
I've been to a football game. I've seen crowds before. Let's watch that again with the sound down, please. Does this sound like something that, I don't know, what does it look like to you? Is this the emergency? Even CNN had to admit in later weeks that it didn't look bad on January 6th. It was only in later days that the images from the cowboy guy, the horns guy inside, all that stuff came out. One more example of this, Dana Bash on CNN.
This is basically taking over, storming the Capitol it's anarchy. It really is anarchy. And the president has encouraged this time and time again, and they are stopping the constitutional, peaceful transfer of power.
All right, I'm sorry to do this, but it's gonna be a little bit boring. Turn the sound down and watch it again. It does actually, like that congressman said, kind of look like a tourist situation. Now, this is the heart of the case against Trump. He was watching TV, he saw these images, and he didn't do anything. But here's the real scandal. He was set up, and the people, if there was really such danger there, who should have been calling him, sat on their hands and did nothing. Like Mark Milley. Mutinous Mark, I like to call him. He is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. What does that job entail, by the way? What is it officially? The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is the principal military advisor to the president. On January 6th, they got TVs over at the Pentagon. Did he call his boss to advise him?
Yeah. He's the commander-in-chief. You got an assault going on the Capitol of the United States of America. And there's nothing. No call, nothing, zero.
Nothing? Zero? What is he, waiting for the guy to make the first move? Does he want to date Donald Trump? Pick up the phone, take the initiative. Don't they teach that at West Point or wherever you went to college? What is wrong? And this is what he heard 3 days before January 6th, by the way. General Milley, according to General Milley, on January 3rd, during a National Security Council meeting, I only remember in hindsight because he was almost like clairvoyant. Deputy Secretary of Defense David Norquist says the greatest threat is a direct assault on the Capitol. I'll never forget it. Well, thanks a lot. You're putting it in your memoir. You're telling the committee, but you didn't do anything with it when you should have. Mike Pence, one phony baloney guy, by the way, posing for those historical pictures in the basement of the Capitol. Did he call the president? I hear he was so loyal, all 4 years, right? So loyal. Did he call the president? No.
Over the course of several hours, you spoke with the acting defense secretary. You spoke with the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Milley.
I did.
You spoke with the acting Attorney General, Jeff Rosen, with the Chief of Capitol Police. Where was the president in all this?
David, I was at the Capitol. I wasn't at the White House.
And when you learned later that he was watching all this unfold on TV?
I can't account for what the president was doing that day. I was at a loading dock in the Capitol where a riot was taking place.
But why wasn't he making these calls?
That'd be a good question for him.
Now, I got more questions for you, mutinous Mike. Why didn't you call the President of the United States? You have his number. You could get him on the phone if the situation was really that serious. What is going on? Mike, Mark, none of these guys, nobody called the President of the United States. That whole national security team, that whole swamp apparatus, nobody engaged him. It was a setup. Oh, yeah, baby, this was a setup. You know who did call him, and good for him? Brian Kilmeade. Good for him. He's the only guy. I mean, I might, if I'm the president, if I'm me, let Brian's call go to voicemail, all right? If Brian's calling, but the Director of National Intelligence and the National Security Advisor isn't calling, it's okay for President Trump to think that it wasn't such a big deal. And actually, it wasn't. More when I come back.